Class 5, Chapter 2, The Idol and the Whale, Part 3. In the second part, we learned that the whale became jealous of the idol and the shark helped the whale to find out the truth. When he found out the truth, the whale became so upset and decided to meet the idol. So he wore magic boots and walked to the temple to meet the idol. Page number 13, second paragraph. He arrived at the temple at night, which was fortunate, as otherwise the people of the town of Kamakura would have died of fright. He knocked on the temple door, and a great bell-like voice told him to enter. "Pray, come out to me," said the whale. There was a sound of heavy footsteps, and the immense idol came out under the stars. At first, the two enormous beings were so surprised to see each other that they could not speak. But after a while, the whale began to tell his story. The whale reached the temple at night. It was good that he went to the temple at night. Why? Because at night, all the people living in Kamakura will be inside their houses sleeping. So nobody will be seeing the whale walking through the road with his magic boots, isn't it? So if the people see such a thing, what would happen to the people? They would die of fear. Okay, just imagine at morning you and your parents are outside your home and suddenly you see a big whale wearing big shoes is walking through the road in front of your home. Imagine that. What will be your condition? You will be frightened, isn't it? So that is the case with the people of Kamakura. If they see such a thing, they will be frightened. But the whale walked to the temple at night, so it was good and nobody saw him. He arrived at the temple and knocked on the temple door, and a great voice told him to come in. But the whale said, "I will not come inside the temple, but the idol have to come out." So the idol came out. When the idol came out, there was sound of heavy footsteps. Now the idol came out of the temple and now he is standing under the sky full of stars. At first, the two enormous beings, two very big beings, they were so surprised to see each other. They are seeing each other for the first time, isn't it? So they were so surprised to see each other and they didn't talk for some time. But after some time, the whale started to tell his story. He told all his fears and worries to the idol. Now, page number 14, the first paragraph. A sleeping temple priest woke up and came to see who was talking. He found the idol's pedestal empty and came running out. He saw the two gigantic figures. He let out a shriek and fainted in shock. Now the idol came out of the temple and the whale started to tell his story to the idol. But what happened? A temple priest was sleeping inside the temple and he heard the talking. He heard some talking and he woke up from his sleep and he came out to see who was talking. So when he came out, what happened? He saw that the idol's pedestal, what do you mean by pedestal? Base of the statue. Okay, the base of the statue where the idol was kept, it was empty. And he became so frightened. He was thinking, what happened to the idol? Where did it go? And he came out of the temple running to see what happened to the idol. And what did he see? He saw the two gigantic figures. He saw the two gigantic means very big. Okay, he saw the two big figures. They were talking to each other. And he let out a shriek. He cried. He became so frightened to see these two creatures standing outside the temple and talking to each other. He became so frightened and he cried. Shriek means he cried. He made a big sound, a big cry. And he fainted in shock. He fainted. He lost his consciousness and he fell down because he was shocked to see the idol and the whale talking to each other. Now the second paragraph in that page. When he regained consciousness, the idol asked him to measure both of them with his rosary. The whale's heart was cracking with the strain and suspense. The priest completed measuring and announced that the whale was taller than the idol by 2 inches. The priest, when he came out to find out what happened to the idol, he saw idol and the whale talking to each other, and he became shocked and he fainted. He fell down, isn't it? So when he regained the consciousness, when he regained from the shock, what happened? The idol asked him to measure both of them with his rosary. The idol asked the priest to measure both the whale and the idol with his rosary. Rosary means a set of small beads for counting a series of prayers. In that picture, you can see in the hands of the priest there is a rosary. Okay, it is a set of small beads. It is used for counting a series of prayers. So the idol asked him to measure both of them with his rosary. The priest now started to measure both the idol and whale with his rosary, and the whale's heart was cracking with strain and suspense. The whale's heart was beating like anything because he had a lot of fear inside his heart. And the priest completed measuring. Now the priest measured both the idol and whale, and he completed, and he announced that the whale was taller than the idol by 2 inches. So who is the tallest one? The whale is the tallest creature, not the idol. Okay, so whale became so happy because the priest announced that the whale was taller than the idol. Now the last paragraph of that page. Of course, the whale lived happily ever after. As for the idol, he did not care if he was not the biggest thing in the world. He is still calm and smiling. Now, who is the biggest thing in the world? The whale, isn't it? Whale is the biggest thing in the world, not the idol. So the whale became so happy to know that, isn't it? And the whale lived happily ever after because he now knows that he's the biggest thing in the world. He's a huge one and he's the biggest thing in the world. So he lived happily ever after. As for the idol, he did not care if he was not the biggest thing in the world. He never cared about all these things, and he always lived so calm and smiling. He was always calm and smiling.